You've been lied to. For decades, documentaries, movies, and museums have told you the same story, that Megalodon, the 60-foot prehistoric shark, was the undisputed king of the ancient ocean, the ultimate predator, the thing that made everything else prey, the monster that ruled without challenge, without competition, without fear. But they left something out. Because while Megalodon was ruling the ocean, something else was hunting in the same water. Something with a bigger brain, bigger teeth, and a taste for shark meat. Something that didn't just survive alongside Megalodon, it actively hunted it. This is Livyatan melvillei, named after the biblical sea monster Livyatan and Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick. A sperm whale built like a battleship, 57 feet of pure mammalian rage with the largest functional teeth ever discovered in the history of paleontology. Not the largest whale teeth, not the largest fossil teeth, the largest functional teeth designed for killing, period. 14 inches long, serrated edges, conical shape, built for ripping, tearing, and crushing, not filtering plankton or catching small fish. While modern sperm whales hunt giant squid in the dark depths using echolocation and suction feeding, Livyatan hunted hard targets. Baleen whales, seals that could twist and dodge, dolphins that traveled in defensive pods, and sharks, big sharks. Today, we're settling this once and for all. We're descending into the Miocene epoch, 10 million years ago, to answer the question paleontologists whisper about in museum halls but never say out loud in documentaries. What happens when the ocean's two greatest predators meet in open water? This isn't speculation, this isn't fantasy. This is war, and only one of them is walking away. The Miocene Ocean, 10 million years before humans ever walked upright. The water is warm, bathtub warm, averaging 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, tropical. The continents are still drifting into their modern positions. South America hasn't fully connected to North America yet. The Isthmus of Panama is still forming. The Mediterranean Sea is about to dry up completely in what scientists call the Messinian salinity crisis, and the ocean, this ancient ocean, is ruled by two apex predators who have never had to share territory before. Let's meet the contestants. Corner 1, Megalodon. Otodus megalodondus, 60 feet long from nose to tail, 50 tons of pure predatory muscle, the largest predatory shark that ever lived, and possibly the largest predatory fish in Earth's history. Its jaws could open 6 feet wide enough to swallow a Volkswagen Beetle whole, wide enough to engulf an entire seal without chewing. Bite force estimated at 40,000 pounds per square inch. Let me put that in perspective for you. A modern great white shark, the thing we consider the ultimate ocean predator today, generates 4,000 psi. A saltwater crocodile, the strongest biter alive on Earth right now, maxes out at 3,700 psi. Megalodon could bite 10 times harder than a great white, 10 times. Its teeth were 7 inches long, triangular, serrated like steak knives. Each tooth had tiny serrations running along both edges, designed specifically to slice through blubber, muscle, and bone with maximum efficiency. We've found whale fossils from this period with Megalodon bite marks preserved in the bone, clean cuts through vertebrae that were 2 feet thick. This thing didn't nibble at prey. It didn't take multiple bites. It amputated limbs. It severed tails. It disabled prey with surgical precision. And it was fast. Faster than you'd think something that size could move. Recent studies using computer models and comparisons to modern great whites suggest Megalodon could swim at 11 miles per hour in short bursts, faster than most baleen whales could flee. It was an ambush predator, a patient killer. It would lurk in deeper water. using its ampullae of Lorenzini to detect the electrical impulses of prey from miles away, tracking heartbeats, muscle contractions, the nervous system firing. Then it would rise from below, using the sun's angle to mask its shadow, approaching in complete silence until the final moment. One bite. That's all it needed. One calculated bite to the flippers or tail, immobilizing the prey instantly. Then it would circle, wait, watch, letting blood loss and shock do the rest of the work. Efficient, cold, reptilian. Megalodon was a perfectly designed killing machine, refined over 20 million years of evolution. Corner 2, Livyatan. Livyatan melvillei, 57 feet long, nose to tail. 50 tons of solid muscle wrapped in blubber. A sperm whale with the brain of a dolphin, the aggression of an orca, and the teeth of a saltwater crocodile. While Megalodon had hundreds of relatively small teeth designed for cutting and slicing, Livyatan had 40 massive teeth, 20 on top and 20 on bottom, each one a foot long and 3 inches in diameter at the base. But here's the critical difference, the thing that changes everything. Livyatan was a mammal. Warm-blooded, social, intelligent, capable of strategy, memory, and learning. Modern sperm whales have the largest brain of any animal on Earth, weighing 20 pounds. For comparison, a human brain weighs 3 pounds. An elephant's brain weighs 11 pounds. The sperm whale's brain is massive, complex, with highly developed regions for social cognition, communication, and problem-solving. They hunt in coordinated groups. They communicate with clicks and calls that travel for hundreds of miles underwater. They plan ambushes. They strategize. They remember individual members of their pod for decades underwater. They pass down hunting techniques through generations, teaching their young specific methods for specific prey. Livyatan had the same brain structure, possibly even more developed because it was hunting much more dangerous prey. Unlike modern sperm whales, which hunt soft-bodied giant squid in the deep ocean, using echolocation and suction feeding, Livyatan hunted hard targets, baleen whales with thick blubber and heavy bones, seals that could twist and dodge, dolphins that traveled in defensive pods, and sharks, big sharks. It had binocular vision, forward-facing eyes positioned on the front of its skull, giving it depth perception. It could see its prey clearly, track movement in 3 dimensions, judge distance accurately for precise attacks. Megalodon, like all sharks, had eyes positioned on the sides of its head. Excellent for detecting movement in a wide field of view, but no depth perception. It relied on other senses, movement detection, electrical signals, smell, vibrations in the water. Livyatan could think 3 moves ahead. Megalodon could only react to immediate stimuli. And there's one more critical piece of evidence we need to consider. Modern killer whales, which are essentially smaller, more advanced versions of Livyatan, hunt great white sharks for sport. They've learned through observation and experimentation to flip great whites upside down, inducing a state called tonic immobility, where the shark becomes paralyzed and helpless. They hold them there until the shark drowns, unable to move water through its gills. Then they eat only the liver, which is rich in nutrients and oils, and leave the rest of the carcass floating. This isn't instinct. This is learned behavior. This is strategy. Livyatan had 10 million years of evolution, specifically teaching it how to kill sharks. 10 million years of refining techniques, passing down knowledge, developing strategies. Megalodon had 10 million years of being alone at the top, never challenged, never threatened, never forced to adapt its tactics.
So who wins, Megalodon or Livyatan? On paper, they're perfectly matched. Same weight class, similar length, comparable offensive capabilities. Both apex predators at the absolute top of their food chains. But biology isn't math. Evolution isn't a spreadsheet. Combat isn't about statistics. It's about strategy, adaptability, intelligence. the ability to think, to plan, to coordinate. We know mammals beat sharks in direct confrontations. We see it today in modern oceans. Killer whales, which weigh 6 tons, regularly dominate great white sharks that weigh 2 tons. Not because orcas are bigger, not because they bite harder, but because they're smarter. They hunt in coordinated pods. They learn from experience. They adapt their tactics based on the prey. They pass knowledge down through generations. Livyatan had 10 million years of evolution specifically devoted to perfecting the art of killing sharks. 10 million years of natural selection favoring the whales that were better at it. Megalodon had 10 million years of being utterly alone at the top of the food chain, never seriously challenged, never forced to evolve better defenses or tactics. And we have physical evidence. We've found Megalodon teeth in the fossil record with bite marks on them. Large conical bite marks, mammalian bite marks. Something with massive teeth and incredible jaw strength was biting through Megalodon teeth hard enough to leave permanent damage. Something was killing Megalodons. Something was eating them. That something was Livyatan. But here's the final twist in this story. Neither of them ultimately won. The ocean did. Around 5 million years ago, the global climate underwent a dramatic shift. Ocean temperatures began dropping worldwide. The polar ice caps expanded significantly. Sea levels changed, and most critically, the warm, shallow coastal waters where both Megalodon and Livyatan primarily hunted began to disappear. Their prey adapted and migrated. Baleen whales moved into deeper, colder waters where they could find food. Seals evolved to handle ice and extreme cold. The abundant hunting grounds that had sustained both apex predators for millions of years simply dried up. Megalodon went extinct approximately 3.6 million years ago. It couldn't adapt to the changing conditions. Sharks are ectothermic, cold-blooded. They're dependent on specific water temperatures to maintain their metabolism. They're specialized predators that evolved for specific prey in specific conditions. When those conditions disappeared, Megalodon disappeared with them. Livyatan went extinct around the same time period, give or take a few 100,000 years. But its descendants survived. They evolved. They adapted. They became smaller, more efficient, less aggressive, better suited for hunting in deep, cold water where the competition was less fierce. Modern sperm whales are the direct descendants of Livyatan. They lost those massive teeth, lost the aggression, lost the need to hunt large, dangerous prey on the surface. But they kept the massive brain, the social structure, the intelligence, the ability to hunt cooperatively in conditions where nothing else can survive. Today, sperm whales routinely dive 7,000 feet below the surface. They hold their breath for 90 minutes at a time. They hunt giant squid in complete darkness using only echolocation, processing millions of acoustic data points per second to build three-dimensional maps of their environment. They hunt in coordinated groups, surrounding prey, taking turns diving while others rest at the surface. Megalodon never learned to do any of that. Megalodon never needed to, until it did. And by then, it was too late. So when Megalodon and Livyatan met in the open ocean 10 million years ago, sometimes the shark won, sometimes the whale won. Individual battles went both ways depending on circumstances, surprise, health, experience. But over millions of years, across thousands of encounters, intelligence consistently beat instinct. Strategy consistently beat strength. Warm blood and complex social behavior consistently beat cold blood and solitary hunting. The ocean doesn't crown permanent kings. It tests everything constantly, and it only allows the most adaptable to survive long term. But here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. We've explored less than 5% of the Earth's oceans. We've mapped the surface of Mars in higher resolution than our own seafloor. And every single year, we discover species that shouldn't exist according to our understanding. Giant squid that were thought to be myths. frilled sharks that look identical to fossils from 80 million years ago, goblin sharks with extending jaws that seem designed by nightmares, species we declared extinct millions of years ago swimming around like nothing happened. The megamouth shark, a 15-foot filter-feeding shark, was completely unknown to science until 1976, when one accidentally got tangled in a United States Navy anchor off the coast of Hawaii. We had no idea something that large existed. The coelacanth, a species of lobe-finned fish we absolutely knew went extinct 66 million years ago with the dinosaurs, was found alive and healthy off the coast of South Africa in 1938. We were completely wrong. The ocean hides things deliberately. The ocean keeps secrets intentionally. The ocean is very, very good at making things disappear. So when people ask me the inevitable question, could Megalodon still be alive somewhere in the unexplored depths, I give them the scientifically accurate answer, no. The evidence overwhelmingly says no. The fossil record says no. Basic biology says no. We would see evidence, we would find bodies, we would detect them. But then I remember the megamouth. I remember the coelacanth. I remember that we've explored 5%. 5%. And I think about how the ocean remembers everything, how it preserves things, how it hides things in trenches so deep that the pressure would crush a nuclear submarine like a tin can. The ocean remembers Megalodon. The ocean remembers Livyatan. The ocean remembers every apex predator that ever ruled its depths, every monster that ever terrorized its inhabitants, every perfectly designed killing machine that evolution ever created. And maybe, just maybe, in the places we haven't looked yet, in the trenches we haven't mapped, in the darkness we haven't pierced, the ocean is still keeping a few of them around, just in case, just to remind us, just to make absolutely sure we never forget that we're only visiting, that we're guests in a world that belongs to something much older, much larger, and much more powerful than we'll ever be. The ocean was here first. The ocean will be here last. And the ocean never forgets.